Hello friends, Jason here for TheChartGuys for checking out the coronavirus stocks again. We did our video yesterday, and as expected, the little bit of a hype storm has followed us through, and we saw quite a bit of a jump in a lot of these names. So the first thing I want to point out is this is the first day following the weekend that we have seen the hype marinate. So over the weekend, a lot of people heard about these stocks, a lot of people came into the market, and that is by and large what is going to be driving today's price action and the fact that we've gapped up on a lot of names. What we need to see for upside continuation is going to be a continued influx of buyers who are able to support the price where it is and beyond that drive it higher than it is. Some of these names are relatively illiquid. If you look at APT, you can see the volume on this stock today and yesterday, being Friday, tremendous. And the volume preceding doesn't even barely register on the volume indicator here. So the biggest day, actually, in fact, the only day that I see here is from December 4th at 58,000 shares traded. Today was 11 million. So not a lot of this going around. And I suspect if you go look at the float of available shares for APT, relatively low. So as long as there's new buyers coming in and they're supporting this price, APT could go as high as it wants to go. But as soon as that starts to taper off and we see an influx of people trying to get out of APT, it's going to drive the price down as quickly as it drove it up. So that's that. Now looking from a technical perspective on APT, again, we're going to ignore a lot of the daily RSI values. However, we're still going to be watching the hourly and 4-hour oversold or overbought RSI at this point. But I want to point out on the daily time frame, this is almost a hanging man candlestick. Hanging man is a pattern that sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't, but we often see it at the top of big upside moves like this. And what it means is that bears went on the offensive in a really big way, pushed the price down, and bulls have stepped in and pushed it back. We see that we're closing red, so bears still win the day. And the idea behind this candlestick is if the bulls have the strength and the support behind the move, the bears should not be capable of driving the price down as viciously as they did on APT today. So this is a reversal candlestick. We need to see a lower open, and then I would like to see a loss of today's low of, what is that guy? $7 psychological. How beautiful is that? So if we lose 7 psych tomorrow, it's likely we're going to see downside continuation. If we lose that without any follow through, that's going to be good for the bulls. So keep a close eye on what happens if and when we break 7 psych. On the 2-minute time frame, I wanted to point out some of this action. So yesterday we saw the after hours taper to the upside. We saw a pretty big open and sell off immediately in pre-market, and it was a pretty wild, choppy day for the most part. And some of these names pretty much just traded sideways, and we'll get to those in a minute. But the opportunities that were there were there. So here we see on APT, we had a beautiful 2-minute time frame pattern. It wasn't quite a wedge, and I wasn't happy calling it a wedge. We talked about this in one of our live chart sessions, but it was a converging line with way too much real estate. So the only thing that we could point out was the fact that we had the potential for a double top. And we got up there, double topped right at 775 in a bear pattern in something that we know is overbought. So what we're going to expect is a break of that pattern to the downside and some follow through. I did not expect the bulls to buy up what they did as they approached the low day, but we see we've got a nice little tightening range here, 2-minute trend change, and bulls have stepped up and pretty much just going sideways. Still an area of resistance around 775 and our high 780. So if we open under 780 tomorrow, bulls are going to need to take that out right away, and then I'd be looking to play that range of 780 to $7 psychological. Again, a loss of 7 psych is going to be bad for the bear or for the bulls. They definitely don't want to do that. The overall high from pre-market, where did we get to? All the way up to 863, so a pretty substantial move. So overall, I'm going to be, well, I don't even want to say cautiously optimistic on APT. These guys are just way too overbought. All it takes is one bit of good news from the coronavirus narrative. Either vaccines are out or it's getting under control or something like that, and APT and these stocks are going to come crashing down. So please do not hold them. If you do hold them, please recognize that you are absolutely gambling. The only way to play these successfully and what's the word I'm looking for? Successfully and carefully, I guess. Conservatively, I don't know. But just trade it like a regular stock. Don't swing it. Be careful. That's all I want. I don't want you guys to lose money. It's fun to make money in stocks like this, but we don't want to lose. All right, moving on. LAKE, a boring ticker. Look at the daily time frame. Here we see that we have a little bit more control on the part of the bulls. Possible volume climax, still showing that big bearish attack. Bulls should not have allowed this if they were supporting that price. Possible volume climax. All signs point to downside continuation. The only way this changes is if we open higher and we protect our pre-market lows. So go to the 5-minute time frame. You can see that we pretty much just traded sideways on LKE today. We had a high with our pre-market, or I should say after hours. We saw consecutive 5-minute higher lows. We broke our 5-minute higher low, set a cap on the day, and then immediately sold off, set our low of the day, and just sort of chopped sideways. So if you had trouble trading late today, you're not alone. This one would have been very difficult to read, and if you did happen to time it just perfectly, the gains here for your risk to reward are just not in your favor. It was not a great ticker to trade. So what are we looking for tomorrow? I'm going to need to see a break over 1671, and it's going to have to hold and be convincing for me to be interested in anything on LAKE. We're not looking at consolidation on the hourly. This is just a choppy mess so far, and I don't see anything jumping out at me that has me interested in a position on LAKE. NVAX daily time frame, gap up, sell off. Not crazy volume, but it's still good. So this isn't in control of the bears, and it's a not unexpected profit taking. Not a lot of information we can glean from the daily candlestick, so we really got to drill down to try and figure out what's going on the 4 and hourly time frames. So in this case, we're looking at the 4 hour. This is going to be nice hourly action. We had a failed bear flag, a failed bull flag, drop down, just held probably our hourly EMA 26. And there it is, hourly EMA 26 holds. We're still in a slight hourly uptrend, and bulls really need to hold this together if they're going to get anywhere. Indecisive on the daily, 4-hour uptrend, hourly downtrend with that EMA 26 holding into a new 15-minute uptrend. So what we're looking for here is for the bulls to hold this consecutive line in the sand. Basically looks like a triple bottom at 864 in after hours. If they hold that and can open above that level tomorrow, we're going to want them to knock out a key resistance right away. And who's it going to be first? First key resistance, 908, so probably 9 psychological. We'll see how it goes. If we lose 864 and that range early in the morning, and always, if you're watching in the morning, check your pre-market levels. The pre-market low and the after-hours low in the morning is likely not to be 864, but if we see support established below that, then use that level. However, currently 864, if we lose our low of day, 829, then we go back to our daily time frame, no support until we get down to the low of, what is that, the 24th, 751. Also wanted to point out on NVAX, the play of the day for this guy, nice, beautiful, I think it was actually a 2-minute channel. No, it was 5. Nice 2-minute channel, 5-minute higher highs, higher lows, bounced around in there, lost that pattern, closed under EMA 26, and a slow, gradual sideways move. Really hard to trade these guys intraday. It's all about the high stakes gambling that you can do. But you can try to time entries, that's for sure. CODX, daily time frame, probably the strongest of all the setups that we've seen so far. Big volume today. Big high risk, not high risk move, a high move to a high day. Where is that? $3.60 and our low of day 235. So it's all about this range of this candlestick and whether or not the bulls finish strong. So we go to the 5-minute time frame, take a look at what happened here. Look at that 5-minute EQ, gradual sell-off. We hold low of day, and look at the momentum coming in toward the end of the day and still holding pre-market. So all of the gains from today's candlestick was from the momentum going into the end of the day. I'm not sure what has driven this move, but so far it is the most promising in the sense that we have good momentum going into the end of the day. We have a reasonably, well, I don't want to call it a reasonable setup on the daily time frame because this is a big, powerful candlestick, but there is momentum here, more momentum than I see in the other names. So if I was going to be looking for a ticker to play and I only had these 5 to choose from, I would be looking at CODX. I would be looking for the defense of the pre-market lows, and I would be looking for us to take out the high right now, this double top at $3.60. If bulls can get over that, then I would be looking for a higher low entry and just ride that up as far as I can go. VIR, last candlestick or last pattern chart, whatever, running out of words. What we're going to look at today is VIR daily time frame. Here we are, massive volume, absolutely crazy, even compared to what we've seen for the past few days. So that is really an impressive amount of shares traded, 2.6 million, when the day before was one of the largest ones we've seen, 440,000. So a substantial jump here, almost 500% increase just in volume alone. So what are we doing up here? Massive indecision candlestick, huge wicks on both sides. Bears win the day, 4-hour time frame, stair stepping up, haven't consolidated since this brief touch at 21.33. Hourly time frame chopping around a bit, struggling to get over 26.89. A little bit of a pre-market high there, and we'll go to the 15-minute time frame, and it's possible we're setting up ourselves a little bit of a ascending triangle. And what I'm going to do is just grab these two lows. I'm going to take the low of my red candlestick here, and I'm actually going to take the close of this doji, because I'm interested in, can we hold the pattern? I'm okay with breaching it as long as bulls can defend and push the price back up. They've done that. So what I'm going to look for tomorrow, should we open right around here, and maybe even during pre-market, is going to be a break over 26.89. If we get a high over that, that's going to be leaning me a little bit bullish. If we break pattern and we start knocking out some of these supports, obviously that's going to be going in the other direction. A big nasty candlestick like VIR with a volume climax that we are seeing here, and it's a volume climax so far, certainly has some potential to pull back pretty hard, having not really established a base of support. And that's all I have to say about the coronavirus tickers today. If you have any in particular you want me to add into this, we'll cover them as long as these stocks are volatile. And then, as always in Chart Guys, we move on to whatever tickers are trading and trending and where the volume and the volatility is. We follow the wildebeest, basically, and the wildebeest is our volatile tickers. If you are interested in learning more about technical analysis, check us out, ChartGuys.com. We have a great community of people, and they really make my job incredible. So please check them out. Check out the website. Check out technical analysis. Learn to protect your money. And please, 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 please be careful playing these stocks. They're very volatile, very dangerous. And that's it. Have a good one.